Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss the legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedoms and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, the President and General Counsel of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country in the courtrooms of America. Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedoms.
On the day after Father's Day, we remember dads do matter. I'm Matt Barber, Vice President of Liberty Counsel Action and Associate Dean with Liberty University School of Law. And today for Matt Staver, joining me in studio is Deryl Edwards, a director with the law school and President of Liberty Counsel Action. Deryl, yesterday was Father's Day, a wonderful day. You're a dad. I'm a dad. I have three young kids, 10, 7, and 6, a boy and two girls, and they are just a joy to have, and any father, any parent knows that kids are a blessing, and they're also an awful lot of work, but they are certainly worth it. Well, we live in a day and age where the secular left is pushing this idea that genders don't matter, that it doesn't really matter if you have a mom, doesn't really matter if you have a dad, that essentially two moms can raise a child just as well as two moms, which of course is a physical impossibility, can raise a child just as well as a mom and a dad. And we know that it's not always possible for there to be a mom and a dad in a home. There are single family homes, there's divorce and so forth. But the gold standard has always been and should be, and studies show overwhelmingly that the gold standard for kids to create well-adjusted, good citizens in the future, the gold standard is a mom and a dad in a home.
Well, I think it's important that fathers take their role of being godly leaders in the family. You talk about yesterday being Father's Day. I wonder how many fathers that should have taken their family to church actually did so. It's probably one of the worst attended times of the year for fathers to actually be in church. Many of them probably be rather out on the golf course or out on the boat. And I think our nation is paying the price for decades of a lack of godly leadership among fathers.
Well, and we know that a dad can't, as you say, can't just be in the home. He has to be present in the home and involved with his children and involved in their lives on a day-to-day basis in order to help them become well-adjusted. We see this. Our friends over at the National Fatherhood Initiative have some great statistics on homes that are where the father is absent, fatherless homes. And we know, for instance, that children in father-absent homes are 5 times more likely to be poor. In 2002, 7.8% of children in married couple families were living in poverty compared to 38.4% of children in female householder families. And that was from the U.S. Census Bureau. I mean, this isn't, some right-wing think tank that's coming up with these statistics, these facts. We know also, for instance, during the year before their babies were born, 43% of unmarried mothers received welfare or food stamps, 21% received some type of housing subsidy, and 9% received another type of government transfer, unemployment insurance, etc. For women who have another child, the proportion who receive welfare or food stamps rises to 54%. A child with a non-resident father is 54% more likely to be poor than his or her father, and these are just a handful of statistics that show that kids need dad. Kids need a mom. Boys, obviously, learn how to be men from their fathers. They learn how to emulate their father's masculine characteristics. Little girls, I mean, I have 2 precious little girls. They love their daddy. They need their daddy. They need to be adjusted, and if their dad is absent, they feel that. They see that. Yet, Deryl, we have activists, radical activists, such as Judge Vaughn Walker out in California, who, despite the overwhelming evidence to the contrary, just arbitrarily and unilaterally comes up with nonsense like this. And here's a quote from his ruling that Proposition 8, the constitutional amendment protecting the sanctity of marriage in the state of California, he says this, quote, "Rather, the gender of a child's parent is not a factor in a child's adjustment." Well, we know that is simply false. Quote, "The evidence shows beyond any doubt that parents' genders are irrelevant to children's developmental outcomes." I mean, this flies in the face of all reality, all the studies, all of our individual experiences. This is pure activism from a secular humanist leftist standpoint. He says this, quote, "Gender no longer forms an essential part of marriage. Marriage under law is a union of equals." Well, he just throws all this nonsense out there without any supporting evidence. He just, as I point out, arbitrarily is trying to push this and puts it, actually lists this all under his findings of fact. Well, it couldn't be further from the truth.
Well, it's amazing that in a legal system we have a judge who's basically it's the tail wagging the dog. It's after 30-plus years of feminism and trying to deny fatherhood. Now we have a judge comes out and sort of backs up what they had wanted to hear all these years from a legal point of view, which is really just a bunch of hokum. It's not true just because he said it. You mentioned the website, the National Fatherhood Initiative. I'd encourage any father to go to that website. Just because Father's Day was yesterday doesn't mean it's over and you can go, I'm glad that's passed for another year. Every day should be Father's Day. And the website is fatherhood.org. They have a thing, it's a special thing for fathers where they have parenting resources. They have how to get involved, how to be a good dad. I'd encourage all our listeners to go to that and visit it.
Yeah, wonderful resource for dads to learn, because dads are busy. Trying to, they're most often the breadwinner, trying to pay the bills, trying to provide for their children. The National Fatherhood Initiative and the former director actually came and taught a class when I was in grad school working on my master's degree. Came out and taught a summer class that I sat in. Wonderful class. They have wonderful information that I would encourage all fathers to go to that website and get. It's again fatherhood.org, fatherhood.org. But Deryl, going back for a moment to some of these ridiculous findings of fact that Judge Von Walker, and admittedly homosexual, I guess I shouldn't be surprised since this is so near and dear to his heart, these issues. He also said this, quote, "Religious beliefs that gay and lesbian relationships are sinful or inferior to heterosexual relationships harm gays and lesbians." Again, just an assertion without any supporting evidence whatsoever. And it also happens to be in alignment that the fact that gay and lesbian homosexual behavior is sinful behavior. Every major world religion, thousands of years of human history, and uncompromising human biology reject same-sex sexual activity as immoral, as demonstrably unhealthy. Well, he says, quote, "Rather, the exclusion of recognizing and affirming homosexuality exists as an artifact of a time when the genders were seen as having distinct roles in society and in marriage. That time has passed." You sit back and scratch your head and say, what? The genders don't have distinct roles? What are we, some kind of amalgam? What's the word I'm looking for here?
Making it up?
Yeah. I mean, it's absurd to say that the genders don't have specific roles, that there aren't differences between men and women. And this is something, as you pointed out, that feminists have been trying to say for years. And even today, these wacky leftists will say, give your little boy a doll. Yeah. Give your little girl trucks and tools to play with. They're trying to force a square hole into a round peg. Little boys are little boys. They have different interests than little girls. Little girls are little girls. Dads are dads. Moms are moms. And, it's time to get back to reality. Judge Walker has deviated from reality and certainly the left at large has deviated from reality.
Well, the feminist movement, what was the saying they used to have? A woman needs a man is it a fish needs a bicycle or something?
Right.
Absurd as well. And I think that part of that is just trying to continue this thought that we don't really need men, we don't need fathers, even the homosexual movement, except in their own twisted view of, my two dads. There's something strange about that, but they try to accept it that way.
Well, folks, at the Liberty Counsel, we stand up for the rights of dads. We stand up for the sanctity of marriage, the sanctity of the natural family. Moms are important. Dads are important. Kids need a mom and a dad. Go to lc.org to learn how you can become part of Liberty Counsel's ministry to help us defend the sanctity of marriage and the natural family.
You have been listening to Matt Staver of Liberty Counsel. Our hope is to encourage and inspire you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedoms. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email update. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.